Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so the conversation of the day, the conversation du jour, these days is all about New Jersey, New York, and New Jersey. We don't exactly have a choice, it's a little bit forced, a little bit court mandated, considering Donald Trump is forced to stay in the area by this clown New York judge, Mr. Juan Merchan. But sometimes when life gives you lemon, you just gotta make lemonade. And that's the thing when you're a man of business experience. You know exactly how to do that. Anybody who's ran a business, who's attempted to start a business, really anybody who's engaged in building something from the ground up and expanding and growing that entity knows that there's speed bumps along the way and you kind of just gotta deal with it and make the best of whatever situation you are handed. Donald Trump's been there before, like any other businessman, and so he's pretty adept at dealing with these sort of situations. The lemons that he was handed is that he's forced to stay in the area. He's forced to stay in deep blue regions of the nation rather than campaigning in places like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. That's the lemon, but then making the lemonade is making something happen, or at least working or trying to make something happen in the region. And it seems as though, well, it's kind of working, at least to a certain extent. The trend had already started prior, and now I guess the idea is to create some momentum to continue that trend, to build upon it, and boy, is that happening. Yesterday we talked about this, a huge, massive boardwalk Trump rally in New Jersey. The initial reports were close to 100,000 people had showed up, but I've also seen claims that it was 40,000. Anyways, within the range of 40 to 100,000 people showed up, an unexpectedly massive showing in deep blue New Jersey. And now following that rally, Fox News did a little bit of a focus group with some New Jersey voters. And again, just like the other day's rally, the potential nightmare scenario for the Democrats continues to play out before our very eyes. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this headline right over here. New Jersey voters say Trump can flip the state red in 2024. Quote, there's momentum. Let's take a look at what these individuals had to say.
Joining me now are three New Jersey voters, William Atkins, Jeannie Isaacson, and Roy Perret. Thanks to all three of you for being here. William, I'll begin with you. What does it mean that Trump can get 40,000 people to attend a rally at the shore 2 weeks before Memorial Day, when we all know in Jersey nobody heads to the shore 2 weeks before Memorial Day?
Well, it means that there's momentum in New Jersey. It means that Trump is paying attention to the numbers. And I just like to give the NJGOP a shout out with this, because they're doing an amazing ground game at registering new party voters.
Yeah, we're going to delve into those numbers in a moment, but I want to stick with the focus on what Trump on the trail means. And when I go to you, Roy, my question is this New York trial really having any impact on what you, your neighbors, family, friends are saying about whether or not they're going to vote for Donald in 2024?
It's not having a negative impact. So if anything, it's going in the opposite, because they can't believe that this is happening to a civilized nation. What's happening with a trial is really what you would think would happen either in communism or a third world country.
Is this the GOP establishment in New Jersey switching Democrat voters who are tired with the way things are going in the Garden State?
Oh, it's definitely a lot of switching going on. I know for sure. I know quite a few Democrats that have now definitely switched. They're not going to be voting for Biden, that's for sure. How could you? I mean, we have so many illegals coming through the border committing these crimes, and here we are with these scandal trials with Trump. I mean, when in history have you ever had a president go through the things that this man is going through?
Look, I'll just admit, this wasn't on my 2024 bingo card. New Jersey possibly flipping red? This kind of momentum building up in the region is not something I expected. And same thing in New York, I didn't expect Lee Zeldin to be within striking distance of Kathy Hochul in the 2022 election. But life is full of surprises, and this is the latest surprise. And my takeaway, the most important thing that I'm looking at, is the voter registration trend. Let's talk about Florida, for instance. You know, for the last 20-30 years, Florida's been a crucial swing state. Back in the 2016 election, Democrats spent millions of dollars. Most of their strategy was built around winning in Florida. That was supposedly Hillary Clinton's path towards victory, and then the moment Donald Trump took the state back in 2016, well, that's when everything changed, now did it? That's when Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian went from this face to this face. That's when the infamous 2016 TYT meltdown began. And fast forward today, Florida seems like a political red haven. Ron DeSantis winning in 2022 by 20 frickin' points, and Republicans overcoming a 500,000 plus voter registration deficit, where the numbers have completely flipped over and now Republicans outnumber Democrats in terms of voter registration. Well, we might be seeing a microcosm of that, a start of that, now happening in New Jersey. Fox News showed these numbers, showing New Jersey voter registration between the time period of April 1st to May 1st. New Jersey Republicans gaining more than double what Democrats were able to do in that same period, at plus 3,500 new voters to only a measly 1,400 for New Jersey Democrats. Voter registration trends in New Jersey have shown notable growth among Republican registrants, especially since the 2020 general election. We've seen Republican voter registration increase by nearly 55,000 since the last election, completely keeping up pace with Democrats in that time period, which again is a very surprising trend, which just hasn't been the case in the state for a very, very long time. As of recent reports, Democrats have 2.5 million registered voters, and Republicans have 1.5 million. The voter registration gap isn't expanding like it has in previous election cycles. Usually, registration trends show a massive Democrat to Republican outnumbering. Now it's pretty even, and considering the fact that independent or unaffiliated voters represent a significant segment of the voting population, sometimes even outnumbering the registered members, well, that could spell very bad news for the Democrat Party, especially considering the fact that Donald Trump is winning big time with independent and unaffiliated voters. Here's my election calculus. Democrats have a significant voter registration lead, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they automatically win the state. Most important factor is voter enthusiasm. There is no Democrat voter enthusiasm, but there is massive enthusiasm for Republicans. So out of the 1.5 million registered Republicans in the state, if a significant portion of them show up to vote, but a less significant portion of Democrats show up to vote, then the voter registration advantage kind of nullifies itself. Then, of course, if independents, who represent a big chunk, just as big as the registered Democrats and Republican chunks, I don't know the exact number, but it's easily within the 1.5 to 2.5 million range, if they start breaking for Republicans at a significant margin, then all of a sudden this is a competitive state. We don't have much polling data to understand the outlook of the state, but even the outdated numbers that we have from roughly 2 months ago show that it's going to be a closer race than people expected. If you look at the 2020 final results, Joe Biden won the state by 19.5 points. That is a huge, huge margin. But if we look at the Hill/Emerson, which took a poll of the state, as I mentioned, roughly 2 months ago, that lead has shrunk to +7. And keep in mind, there's still 6 months to go till election day. This state is in play. And trust me when I tell you, Democrats are now panicking because Democrats now must adopt a defensive stance, which creates a little bit of an unfortunate dynamic for them. I think this dynamic was well summed up by this Twitter user, the Sarcasticat. He writes, "It's not about turning New Jersey red, though one can always hope. It's about being forced to defend a previously safe state, spending advertising dollars and spending precious time at rallies in places that never required that, meaning there's little or no chance of expanding the map. Remember, many down-ticket Democrats don't want Sleepy Joe appearing with them. But if Joe Biden is now forced to do appearances in New Jersey, then these Democrats are forced to make a decision. Avoid Joe Biden with all the bad press that entails for the Biden campaign, or appear on stage with Biden and try not to grimace when Biden reads, 'Wave to the crowd' out loud. And of course, the media has to acknowledge that Joe Biden is defending blue New Jersey. If that's what ends up happening, the media will sugarcoat it, and shills will say the campaign always intended to do this, but everyone will see it for what it is. Exactly. Democrats are now possibly going to be forced to have to spend advertising dollars and actually physically campaign in states that they wouldn't have to previously. And that creates a very uncomfortable situation for a lot of Democrats in these states who don't want to be associated with Biden's toxic political brand. The map is changing. All of a sudden, Democrats have a tough campaign road ahead of them. They need to defend themselves in the Rust Belt, defend themselves in Arizona, even Nevada, and now possibly in the New York, New Jersey area. That's a pretty arduous campaign trail that Joe Biden now needs to get on. Not exactly a spring chicken who has the energy to make things happen and mobilize enthused voters. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but I promise you that pollsters are probably going to be trying to put their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the region, I'd expect some more polling numbers to be released within the next couple weeks and months. And so I guess we'll follow this trend. I'm not going to say New Jersey's automatically in play, but I will reiterate what those New Jersey voters in the initial video said. There's certainly momentum. The question is, will Trump build on it? And will the Democrats be able to defend their record? Not much of a record to defend, so I guess we'll just have to see. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.